Welcome to Champion Your Culture, the podcast, a weekly live show where we explore the power of culture and leadership in business. I'm Ryan McCarty.
And I'm George Rogers, and we go live every week to learn from each other and hear from other experts about how to effectively champion our team members and ourselves. So join us live every Wednesday on our social networks or subscribe. You can listen to Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Now, let's champion your culture. What is up, everybody? This is George here coming live. And listen, I don't know where Ryan is, but we are here at the headquarters of Round Room and Culture of Good. And I'm so excited. Ryan, everybody, it's Ryan. We are live, Ryan. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. What's up, man?
Oh, not much.
Hey, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas, and we're
It's
here.
the holidays.
And we're so excited. We are just roaming the halls of our headquarters here at Culture of Good and the Round Room family. And we thought we would start our show off today a little bit different. It's the end of the year. Maybe get some exposure, some things they don't get to see around here. I want to take them over to this cool place over here because one of our biggest segments, Ryan, and I noticed this off the cuff, we're just live here, ladies and gentlemen, like 100% live. But one of my favorite places here around the room that I found out a few months ago is we deal a lot with mental health and well-being and being able to relax. And there's different areas throughout our whole facility that allows people to do things such as arts and crafts, just to kind of get their minds off of the day-to-day kind of stress.
It's got the promises and our values on here. Be authentic.
So let's see if I can
inspire.
share a little bit. Yeah, so some of our 5 promises.
Isn't that cool?
It's pretty cool, man.
Yo, check this out, too, over on this wall. We did through the Culture of Good, have done a lot of good for Riley Children's Hospital. So this is one of the paintings that we had that was donated and gifted by Riley Hospital for Children because of the work that we've done there. So we've been able to give over $1 million to Riley Hospital for Children through all of the TCC stores. So shout out to all the TCC peeps out there. We're still rocking it. I haven't stopped the Culture of Good. We're still killing it, yo. So we've got a lot of great things going on here.
Awesome. Well, you want to get down to the studio?
Yeah, one of the really fun things that we have at our office is this crazy thing. So I know we haven't shared a lot of what we have around our building, but as we're live here, we wanted to share one of the fun things that we have, and that's the way to get from upstairs to downstairs. Now, today I have to be honest, I came from downstairs to upstairs on the slide.
Oh, you came up the slide, like the old school way.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person that's ever done that before. It's not the easiest thing to do at 47 years old, but all right.
I kind of want to see that challenge.
Yeah, so are we going down the slide together? What?
Is that?
I'll just go right behind you.
All right, sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if my hat will fit through here, but here we go. Woo! Oh, wow.
Yeah. So today's episode, as you know, is called Deck the Halls. So I wanted to show you some really cool things. Deck the halls with culture.
That's right.
So one of the things that we do around here in the building is we make sure that whatever we're doing, we're storytelling. We're making sure that people know the good that's happening throughout the whole building. What's up, RJ?
RJ, everybody in the world, Champion Your Culture podcast.
RJ's been on the show before. What's up, man?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. RJ handles everything around the building, so anything that goes wrong, including me spilling or breaking anything, RJ takes care of it. So we're talking about decking the halls with culture. One of the cool things that we do is make sure that we're storytelling, that people know the good that we have going on, that we're representing the culture and what we have at Culture of Good. I want you to check out what we have as far as our beginnings, the humble beginnings at TCC, and check this out. So we've got some really cool stuff that has started the company in 91. As we get into 1999 and 2000, you see a lot of the growth of TCC in the stores. And check this out. Anybody remember one of these old computers?
Oh, we call those the fatbacks.
Fatback.
The fatback monitors. Probably one of my favorite pictures right here is our good friend, Scott Moorhead.
Yeah.
Good manicure, pedicure toes there for Scott.
Well, I want you to check out down the hallway here, because what happens in the process of TCC evolving is that Scott and I met, and Scott hired me to launch the culture of good within his business. So I want to show you here, in 2013, we launched the culture of good. Pretty cool stuff. That's me without a beard, little spiky hair. Those are all the original backpacks. I'm just sitting there with all the backpacks, and that's where it really kicked off. We were doing, I mean, look at the crowds coming for the backpacks. That, I think over 1,000 kids came for that first year. Really amazing stuff for the backpack giveaway and good that we had going on. We've got more down this way. It just continues to grow. We started not only backpacks, but we got Teachers Rock in 2014, where we were helping teachers by gifting them these gifts. I mean, that's a legit facial expression by one of the teachers. Couldn't believe that we had come into her school to help her out. So we had awesome stuff, awesome stuff going on. This is what we were talking about at Riley Children's Hospital. So that is the $1 million gift, and we did Hug the Hospital, and it just continued to grow from there. We just wanted to share with you, we are decking the halls with culture here at Round Room and Culture of Good. So pretty cool stuff.
Awesome. So as we, Kenneth is in there. Shout out to Kenneth, one of our faithful people that show up every week. One of my favorite things that we talk about, Ryan, a lot of is that giving back and that community, and not doing it to be seen, but doing it to really impact and give back, because it's where we come from. It's where we started truly in the nonprofit space. And so not losing that purpose, that sense of the why we do. We know what we do every day. TCC knows what they do. There's more than just a phone, right? There's so many different things that have happened. And so never losing heart of what you do, and especially why you do it, is the impact.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, is because we know that there's a lot of times we're wondering, why are people leaving our companies, or why aren't people, and we would say, why do people stay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not why are people leaving, but why are people staying? Like what's the driving force? Can they bring their soul to work? Can they do this good and make an impact in their community through their everyday work? Right. And tying that in and aligning that is really what we love to do and specialize in. So, well,
one more look as we get in here. One more look at Ryan's.
I've got the shaky bells.
And I got the full onesie, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh gosh,
the full onesie, the shoes are with the light up chimney. And we get the shoes. For everybody out there that knows, George likes shoes. So here we are. We're coming to you live. We're getting back into our studio, and we're so excited.
Bit of a mess today.
A little bit of a mess. But we wanted to embrace a little bit, Ryan, of the holidays. We got our tree and everything.
Yeah. So let's switch over. Pretty awesome, man.
So fun.
So thank you for everybody that's jumping on with us today. This is, we enjoy work.
Yeah.
And I know that some people believe that if you love it, it doesn't feel like work. And it certainly does feel like work sometimes.
Oh, dude, it's definitely work.
Work.
I mean, it's early mornings, it's late nights.
You got to put it in.
You got to put it in. We are very passionate about what we do, and who we get to do it with. Right? We're not only passionate, but we truly love it. Like, I love you.
Yeah.
I love Round Room. I love Scott. I love our team. We had several people coming out of meeting halls while we were walking around. I love your outfit. I love your podcast. And so, although we're on the same team with our fellow partners, our sister partners, and things of that nature, TCC, Wireless Zone, Stash,
right,
Redux. Shout out to all of them. It's somewhat of a separate thing. We got our own little incubator, where our offices are within this huge facility. I mean, it's a huge facility.
Yeah, it's
easily
crazy.
Get lost. I think I meet a new person every day, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been here for such and such years," and I'm thinking, I need to get around more, but because it's so flexible, the hybrid, we talk about a lot of things that we live.
Yeah.
And so I want to, take this moment to thank all our viewers
Yeah.
out there. We have the last 2 or 3 months, Ryan, we've gone, our subscribers on YouTube, all our YouTube channels are over, 1,000. Our
Pretty well. I
Spotify
think
has
we're
hit
like
over
200%
1,000
viewing.
And so,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
shout out to everybody that's been spreading the love and actually subscribing. That's the huge thing for us to do the impact. It's important for us, for you to subscribe to our channels. And that helps grow our network. That helps us get recognized on those platforms to be able to continue to do what we do.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody this year who has, joined us. A round of applause. That was a great gift for us. If you want to give us one more gift before the end of the year, share with somebody that you know or love. That could use some love on culture, leadership, DE&I, well-being. We hit it all. Whether we know or are experts about it, we'll bring in some people. And we're excited about that. We got some exciting things going on in 2024.
Yeah. And this is the last show of this year. So we're going to get into like the top 5 episodes of this past year, 2025, because we had some really great episodes. I don't know. This might be the number 1, actually.
If everybody out there can get a visual, I know our Spotify and our Apple Podcasts, Google Play, they won't be able to get a visual. Hey, hop on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it may be. And we'll take a picture, we'll send it out there, but also we'll put the video. We shared a lot of video on the phone, on the live today of the walk, the journey that we've had in decking the halls with Culture.
We did that pretty quick though.
We'll share that on social media as well, so people can kind of see it, get an up glimpse of the story of Round Room TCC.
That sounds
Culture
great.
Good. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds great. This year's been a really great year. Just being able to come in every week and have a discussion around culture and leadership with people that care about people. That's what we're really looking for, is to connect with people who care about people. Leaders who care about leaders, not just about leading things, but leading people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what's been great over this past year. And I've grown in my understanding of what it takes to really live up to our own ideals around what our values are, what our purpose is, what our mission is as a business, as an organization. We call no more than an organization, we're an organism. Because we're made of people. So we breathe and we feel and we think and we have opinions and we have values and we do have a mission, and we can feel something that we're working toward collectively together. And that's what I love around the culture of good, is it allows everyone to have a similar mission, a similar idea, that we collectively are working in the same direction. I've heard it before that direction, not intention, determines destination.
Say that again.
Direction, not intention, determines destination. So you can intend on a lot of things, but if you don't direct your life that way, your destination's not going to be what you want it to be just because you intend it to be. You have to direct it, right? It's the same way with our culture, with our teams, with our business. We have to know that we have pointed our business in the right direction, that we have pointed our purpose and our mission in the right direction, so that the destination, or what we're working toward collectively, becomes the culture, right? Becomes who we are, becomes what we do every single day. And so, decking the halls with culture is like, get culture everywhere, not just physically on the walls. I think that's a really good thing to do, that we can see the culture, that when employees show up to work, they can feel it, they can see it, they can sense it. We have the culture on coloring pages, on tables. We have the culture on the walls. We have culture in conversations. When we do huddles every single week, we're talking about the values, or what we call the 5 promises. So all of that is about how do we prioritize culture, and how do we prioritize well-being and people within the organization, because whatever we prioritize will continue to increase and grow, and people know whether it's real or not. If it's just like fake shit, like we're just like trying to like surface level do culture stuff, but people know whether it's important or not.
It's either a lie or a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be real.
Yeah.
And all the things you said culture is here at this office, the realistic option and outcome of that culture is the action.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just living on a dead piece of paper. It's living through the actions.
It's almost like some people's culture
it's
is like beating the dead horse,
right?
And others is like riding. You know what I mean? Like having the ability to get somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the culture is that driving force within the organization where people want to work for you.
Yeah.
Like that idea of why are people leaving the organization, that needs to shift to why are people staying? And then once we discover why people are staying, we need to share that.
Yeah.
Because why would people want to come work for you if they don't know why people are staying?
People are staying because they want to bring their soul to work, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the truth. That's what we say and we teach all the time. Bring your soul to work. Like be you and authentically you. Be authentic, right? That's a 5 promise.
Yeah.
And show up and care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I am so excited about that, and especially as we talk about some of these, you know, top episodes that we've had this year that's brought value to a lot of people. We have the opportunity, Ryan. We say this all the time. We're meeting new people all the time, whether we're downtown Indy or here in Fishers, and they're always bringing up the podcast, or somebody's adding us on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, you know, I heard your podcast." We get a discovery call, and we get on the phone with somebody.
I need to shake the bells for everybody that's doing that.
Yeah, shake the bells.
Sorry, George.
Yeah, that's HR proof. They're bells.
They're just bells.
They're just bells in strategic places. I just kind of want to touch your bells.
Don't do that on the live show.
Yeah, nobody can, you know, touch my fire either. There's a fire. But so like these, we hear people talking about this podcast.
Yeah.
And almost every time, whether it's, hey, I had to pull over to take notes for some of the things, you've had so many testimonials of just that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And shout out to those people.
Yeah. I heard
These
you can't listen to this on the highway because it's not just where you're just listening and we're just randomly talking. I mean, it's really, you know, we're wanting to ensure that, that the content is relative, right? It's relevant. Right. It aligns with what we do every day, you know, and I think the more that we continue to have this conversation, it's evident the things that really matter to those that we're talking to, those of you out there that jump on with us every week, or maybe this is your first week. We wanted to go through the 5 top shows because it kind of is a good indicator to what people care about.
Yeah. To
what people are listening to and what they want to hear more of. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things that really impact our everyday. And I love the number 1. Yeah. The number 1 really speaks to everything that we were talking about as we were running around like a bunch of crazy people.
Do we want to start at number 1 or we want to go to number 5 and end with
go 5 to 4? Okay, let's start at number 5, and you need to stick around for number 1. It's a good one.
Yeah. So number 5 is authenticity.
Yeah.
Be authentic, one of our 5 promises. And so we talked about how leaders build a culture of fulfillment in the workplace. How do you do more than keep your employees engaged, right? From culture engagement to culture fulfillment, leading by example, right? And really expressing those things. I think everything has to be done by example.
We've talked a lot about that this year.
And then show people that it's not just a one-time thing. This is a lifestyle. It's not a lie. This is the lifestyle. It's who we are. This is what we do. And we want you to be able to have the freedom.
Yeah.
Right. We want you to be able to have the freedom. The important thing as a leader is making sure you communicate to your people. Hey, we want you to have the freedom to do these things. When we say foster a culture of communication, it's not just when I talk to you, right? This is a culture. This is a thing that we do, fostering that fulfillment and being vulnerable in those moments.
Yeah.
It's not just a one time when I give you permission in this opportunity or this event. This is a promise. This is our value.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about how important it is for us as leaders to be able to say, this is what is valued within our organization. So, you know, people will never embrace what you don't first embody.
as a leader, right? So if you don't embody vulnerability, it says this is not valued in our organization. This is not a safe place for you to be authentic.
Yeah.
But when we as leaders step up and lead by example, that's another thing that we talked a lot about was leadership isn't just influence, because I've known a lot of people that have influence that weren't leading anything. Leadership is example. Yeah. It's can I look at that person and know how to be? Can I look at that person and see the example, observably see the example of what it means to be a leader within this organization? And I think it's important for us to not only set the example, but as we do, continue to create opportunities for employees to share their passions and incorporate their strengths and values into their work. And that enhances that idea of job satisfaction and fulfillment, from going from engagement to fulfillment to effectiveness, right? We got to get out of that engagement mindset to being like, okay, this isn't just about people getting engaged.
Yeah.
They don't even want to hardly date us.
Yeah.
They certainly don't want to marry us and get the golden watch after 50 years of retirement.
The engagement is that I feel like when you say, hey, let's be engaged, right?
Right.
It's the chase.
Yeah.
How do you stop chasing to where they're just satisfied with where they are, fulfilled?
Yeah. Not sad. Yeah.
We're not just steady chasing them, right?
Yeah.
If you want to take your next level as a company, as far as expanding and elevating, increasing, enhancing your culture, it goes beyond engaging with them, right? We're not just going to, hey, keep you engaged. I feel like somebody just needs to brush my hair whenever I see or hear engagement. Hey, I want to keep you engaged, George. How do I make you happy? Right.
Yeah.
Now here's a slice of pizza and a Coke.
Yeah. Right.
For getting our company $15 million. We've seen those type of things.
About
right?
like happiness.
It's how do you stay fulfilled?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
what it is that keeps you going, that I don't have to pat your back, right, to burp you every time we feed you. You know what I'm saying? Like what fulfills you?
Yeah.
Right. What keeps you committed?
Well, we know what fulfills people, and what fulfills people is knowing why they do what they do, not just having a list of tasks that have to get done, but knowing your why.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's a sense of purpose that drives what you do every day.
Right.
There's a sense of understanding that my contribution means something beyond just getting work done for the sake of work getting done.
Yeah.
Because we're more than human doings, we're human beings. So when we think about the human side of who we are, what fulfills us at work is the same thing that's going to fulfill us anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that is doing good for others, caring about others, making an impact, knowing that our contribution matters, feeling fulfilled in the sense of I'm full. You know what I'm saying? I'm fully filled.
Yeah.
Like my soul. And how do we fill ourselves up? You know, how do we continue to be full? Because as leaders, we're pouring out constantly. You know, if you're a real leader, you're pouring into others, and you always talk about you can't pour out what you don't first have inside of you, right? You can't give what you ain't got.
Yeah.
And so in order to have something, we have to understand our own ability for self-care, our ability to lead ourselves well in order to lead others. And that kind of leads us into like the fourth top show of
top
this
4 of 2023.
Top 4.
Number 4.
Yep. Number 4 is leadership culture. This is a good one, man. Creating a culture where everyone leads.
Mm-hmm. And
this is about creating that environment where team members know that this isn't just about the one person on top.
Yeah.
You know, there was, I remember, might have been this show or another show that we were thinking about the visualization of a leader. Where is the leader when we close our eyes and think about a leader? We always, many times when we imagine it, somebody that's on top.
Yeah.
And a leader is one who leads everyone. And we define a leadership culture as where everyone leads. Yeah. And that's the difference, is how are we encouraging team members to take the initiative, lead projects, and do so again in a way that complements authentic leadership, the number 5 show. And that is the idea, right? Is like, how do we build authentic leaders, or not build, how do we mentor, and how do we invest in that that next set of leaders, those emerging leaders, so that they're able to step up into, because many times we're promoting people without developing them, and we're setting them up for failure.
Yeah. Promoting without development.
Yeah.
Is replacement. Right. You're setting yourself back. And we talk about that all the time. One of the things I think is huge in this facility, again, I want to spotlight everything that we do. And what we also do within our workshops and our leadership development is recognizing and rewarding those leadership behaviors.
Yeah.
Right. A leadership is not a title. Right. It's really a responsibility that we take on, and it's something that we develop over time. Right. Am I the leader I am today that I was in the beginning of the year? And the answer to that should always and desire to be no, I've grown.
Yeah.
Right. Now we've seen some setback type leaders where whether it's personal or just life and work itself has destroyed their passion for why they begun to do what they did in the beginning. Right. But having that culture, and when we talk about leadership culture, and you're creating that culture of where everyone leads, making sure you're recognizing and pinpoint, hey, Ryan, you did such today.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but that's a sign of a good leader. It's not something that you have to do every day, but I recognize that you did such and such for Joe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And really calling that out, because I think sometimes people don't recognize those people that strike me the most are the people who says, I'm not a leader. I don't have a clue about being a leader. Right. We have testimony. Mike Wiley, the leader that he is, we went to the facility a few weeks ago.
Cool, yeah.
And the man that he is today, compared to the guy that was sitting in our cohort a year and a half ago, it's a different leader. Now, those characteristics had to come out of him based on experiences, right? He's evolved over time. And he's not who he is today that he was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. I love that idea, because we're recognizing and rewarding leadership behaviors is what helps create that culture, because people are recognizing it's not just top managers or top leaders that are the leaders. Like we're all collectively leading together. The problem is many times we don't know what we're leading. Because we're just we're given a list of tasks rather than an ultimate mission or purpose, or what is the direction that we're all collectively going, and how can I be a leader within that, right? How can I foster, as I look at my team as an example, how do I foster a leadership mentality, right? Which is a growth mentality. It's not scarcity. It's like, it's not just the leader at top who gets to be able to show up and show out and be able to invest and innovate and to be able to take initiative and lead projects and lead meetings. Like we want everyone collectively to step up.
Yep.
But in order to step up, we need to create the step.
Yeah.
We're asking people to step up, but there's no stairway.
Yeah. Yeah.
There ain't no stairs, but step up.
Yeah, you got to be able to do that too. And I think another thing that goes with it, Ryan, to be the Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
We're talking about recognizing and rewarding those characteristics and those behaviors that we see within our people. The opposite is that, and why do we do that here? It's not to, soft generation where they got to have a pat on the back every time. No, we're quick.
Yeah.
We're quick to call out a negative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When somebody's not displaying a certain attitude or behavior,
absolutely,
we're quick to pinpoint those things.
Right.
The reason why we take it a notch above and say, hey, listen, if we're going to call out the negative, let's acknowledge the positive
like 10
as well.
times.
Yeah. Let's make sure that, because what you don't want to do, you want to talk about having a culture of good and having a culture where people are more than engaged or fulfilled. If you're going to take out and take out the negative and make that a focal point, you better pour in the positive to replace it.
You better pour in the positive, take out the negative.
It's Christmas, man. You gotta sing a Christmas song.
Jingle. I don't know. I had it all set up. I didn't memorize it.
You didn't memorize it?
No.
We should do
you remember the Batman and Robin Jingle Bells?
No, let's not do that one. I don't know it, but it does not sound.
You don't remember that from back in the day?
Let's talk about it all.
Jingle bells. Batman smells Robin laid.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
I remember that. Right. That's PG. I thought you were going somewhere else. No. I thought you were going Hallville.
No.
1993.
But that leadership culture is important, because if you look around your organization and only those with a leadership, like to your point, leadership is not a title, but those that have a title of leadership, right? That's all they have. And that's those that are taking all the initiative because there's no delegation. It's almost like leadership is something powerful because it can be delegated.
Yeah.
In the same way that you can delegate a task, you can delegate leadership in a sense. And the way that you delegate leadership is different than the way that you would delegate a task. A task is something that you give to someone to do. Leadership is something that you invest in someone to be. And that's something that's really important to consider is we're looking at rehumanizing the business, as we talked about last week with Ben. If you missed last week's episode, you should check it out. It's really good. But the rehumanizing of business and recognizing what makes us human, what makes us tick as people, and caring about that and ensuring that we recognize that within our team and looking around the organization, the organism of people that are working together collectively. Do we see a leadership culture, or do we see a few people with authority?
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the difference. Number three top show of 2023. Number 3.
Engage to empower.
Engage to empower. This is it, right?
Developing a leadership culture that empowers not just your leaders, but this really connects to number 4, right?
It really
everybody.
Does. It's like we're leading through it, right?
And so engage to empower, development leadership culture that engages and impacts and empowers everyone. So offering leadership development programs, right, to all employees. We talk about emerging leaders. How do you keep people in your building? How do you keep leaders and grow leaders? You develop them, right? And so having these programs, a leadership program within there, not a one-off training, right? There's a difference between leadership training and a leadership development.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so having that to be able to nurture the potential growth of internal talent, right?
Yeah.
Develop them. George, what happens if the internal talent leaves? Then you bless them, you impact them, and you planted a seed in them. But what happens if they stay and you don't?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Then you have to replace them. And they're going to see that you're getting people from the outside to do something that they have the desire to do on the inside.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have 2 for 1. You're going to have a retention issue.
One of the
keeping people internally, right?
Yeah,
delegate,
absolutely.
Meaningful, right? Not just giving them the, what we used to call them today peon tasks, like get us off to, this guy over here. It's a dirty job. Nobody wants to do it. Let such and such do it.
Yeah.
And run them off, right? Not give somebody that, give them meaningful responsibilities that they can be accountable to, that there are some mistakes that could happen and you can teach from those mistakes. We talk about rewarding mistakes, rewarding those who are willing to take big risks in order to get big rewards, and walk them through, hey, what happened? I love that you took this risk. I want to be a part of the journey. What did you learn from it? What can I do? What resources can I provide you, and development that I can give you to help you take this to the next level, so that you can hit the mark the next time, right? And so empowering them to do that.
Yeah, I think the idea between development and training is crucial. Training is a good place to start, and you always want some form of training and accessibility for training to happen, but training is not all that development entails. It might be a small segment of it, but development seeks to look at the potential in the person. And bring that potential out of them, and develop and give them and foster the ability for them to fully live in and work in their potential. When you think about leaders that have had the most impact on your life, right? You think about those that saw potential in you. When someone sees potential in you, it really does create a different understanding of the relationship between you and that person. Because then all of a sudden there's something invested in the relationship where I know that my leader sees that potential in me, and therefore that makes me want to step up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes me want to kind of grow into what that leader sees in me. And that's a powerful idea. It's a powerful idea that it's given us the opportunity to say, this is what I see in you. And this is what I want for you, not want from you. That's something that within that idea of being engaged to empowered is what we were talking about, is leaders don't just want something from you. They want something for you.
That's good.
And that's an important thing as we were looking at that first. So delegating those meaningful responsibilities of team members, and like you mentioned, giving them that autonomy. That autonomy is huge. That's a big one when we talk about the culture of good and the impact that we have. If culture is how most people feel, believe, and behave most of the time, then it's really important for most people to have autonomy. Because if they don't have autonomy to feel, then they don't have the autonomy to believe, and they don't have the autonomy to behave, right? But when we're empowering people, we're giving them the power of choice. We're giving them permission to step up into that potential that we're starting to see in them.
Yeah.
It would really suck for a leader to see potential in you and then paint you into a corner and say, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, I'm going to tie your hands behind your back, throw you in some water, hope you swim across to the other side of the river because the good's over there. It's like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to create every opportunity, and not just to make it easier necessarily, but not to make it harder for people to be able to say as a leader, like, what is the pathway? What's the way to scale leadership within the organization? The way to scale leadership within the organization is to see everyone as a leader, to look for that potential of leadership, not necessarily saying that they're going to be over a team or have a title. But if we see everybody as a leader with leadership potential, we're saying that everyone can set the example of what our values are.
Yeah. That's good,
man.
Number two,
leading
change well.
Leading change well. There's a lot of uncertainty over this last year. So we're building trust in uncertainty. This is tough because it's really, really tough to get people to trust you in the storm.
Yeah.
When you haven't built trust before the storm came. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
How
like,
do I
it's
walk
like
on water with you? And
it's all like when we're in the middle of chaos.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say, okay, yeah, you can trust me. Or when there's uncertainty, not chaos, but uncertainty. If there's an uncertain future in the business, if there's if we have a leader that maybe leaves the company and that creates uncertainty and people are wondering how do we lead in all of those uncertain moments? Uncertainty brings about a challenge. It causes us to almost forcefully to communicate even more transparently with the team about changes, right? Because as changes are happening, that tumultuous change is going on, we have to ensure we're not just saying, okay, here's the challenges that we're facing, and here's clarity around the change, but here's the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
The two things that we found over this last year that employees bring about the most fear is number one was that very thing, was the lack of clarity around change. Why is change happening?
Yeah.
And why are we going through this? And so having that clear communication, if that's one of the top fears, that's really important to understand why. And the second one is the fact that it's understaffed, right? So like you go into work and there's not enough people to get the job done, and that creates a lot of fear. And that creates a lot of uncertainty. And so, but being able to be clear around change and establishing that feedback loop and understanding that employees can voice their concerns and be able to suggest changes regarding what's going on. Because honestly, like the people on the ground know what's needed best many times.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that continued connection and authentic relationship, we're certainly not going to be able to lead well.
Yeah, this goes back to that open communication, right? Where feedback is always respected between the leader and the employee, right? And so establishing that loop early on, again, you got to establish these things because of the unknowns. What happens if, right?
Yeah.
We have to start communicating and working from home.
Right.
What does that look like? Right.
Yeah.
So over the last 4 years, we had a lot of uncertainty. We've been thrown in a lot of different fires.
Yeah.
And the great leaders have been willing and able to adapt.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things that's on the wall out there that we pass through is that, Scott, was one of those who were able to grow a business and really establish leadership through the change in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. And be one of the best at it and be awarded for such. And so shout out to Scott Moorhead. Merry Christmas. You get to deal with Ryan and I for another year.
Really, it's Scott, but also like the entire team.
Yeah.
Because when we think about, I mean, it does impact when we think about those top leaders, right? Those that we would say, have the titles, VP and up, right? Let's say even middle management and up. They're looking at the CEO. They're looking at the owner. When we talk about culture and whether people matter, they can't matter to everybody but the CEO.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty a lot of people find themselves in, is how do we through the midst of change, build trust with our teams when our teams don't trust leaders within the organization.
And how do we get the leaders to buy into this culture? And it's always a conversation. How do we get this?
Yeah. How do we get, like what George and Ryan are talking about every week? I want that in my business so bad, but how do we do that without that support?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to understand that, because people will not embrace what leaders don't first embody. If we embody a leadership culture, if we embody trust, if I trust as a leader, my team members can reciprocate that. It becomes this trust loop.
Yeah.
But trust doesn't happen in a one-way street. Trust happens in a roundabout. It has to be looped. It has to be a two-way street. Essentially, it has to work as a relationship. Because that's where trust is fostered. And so it's really important to build trust. And as there's going to be decisions that are made within the organization that hurt trust. Because sometimes as leaders, we have to make decisions that have a negative consequence. So even through those so that's why it's important. And we always encourage people to study, for those that are leading people through change, study the ADKAR process, ADKAR, right? So awareness, a desire, knowledge, ability, and then reinforcement.
Yeah.
So it's ADKAR. So it's a process that you can take people through uncertainty and keep clarity even when there's challenges around that. To be honest, and that goes back to the number 5 show, and that's being that vulnerability, right? And authentic. And that doesn't mean, sometimes we think that authenticity means like if we are, we have to come into work and, make people upset because we're just a mean person and I'm just going to be authentic. No, that you're just an asshole. Yeah. That's not being authentic. Authentic is being open and clear and being honest about what's going on within the organization and being honest about what you're going through as a person and being honest about your well-being. And we saw throughout the year, we had several episodes that maybe didn't hit the top 5, but they were definitely ones that a lot of people got on and listened to. It was all about well-being and self-care, right? Self-leadership. It's like, how are you caring for you, your mental health, your well-being? It's really important to understand that those kind of topics are top on the list for people.
Yeah. Yep. Number one.
Ready
for impact.
Are you guys ready for this?
Engage your team this summer in community good.
And now
so this
winter.
Is something winter is coming. So this is something we did in the spring, early spring, to really encourage people leading up to our 10-year anniversary of Culture of Good and the backpack giveaway. The big good that we do every year.
Yeah. We got to over 1 million backpacks before the 10-year anniversary.
That's awesome.
With school supplies given to kids across the country. Oh, geez.
That was the wrong one.
That was a loss. It was the one closest to you.
Oh, that's okay. There we
are.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
I guess we were supposed to get 2 million.
Yeah.
But 1 million backpacks with school supplies to kids. And it was just a tangible need that was met throughout the country. And this one was really big because we were saying, look, if we're going to go from engaged to fulfilled, and we have to recognize what does bring fulfillment to us is we bring our soul to work. How do we bring our soul to work? We create opportunities, again, for people not only to know what they do every day, but know why they do it. People don't stay in their with their job simply because they know what they have to do. People stay because they know why they do what they do. And once you know your why, it gives you a compelling reason, I believe the most compelling reason to stay. The most compelling reason to work for you brings that fulfillment and brings those opportunities. So building and creating an architecture within your organization that people know how to contribute toward community good is the number one show for this past year. And it speaks right to what culture of good is. We believe that the future of culture is good.
Yeah.
And the reason we believe that is because more and more companies, and over the next year, and we just want to announce this next year is going to be all about highlighting other companies, not just saying, hey, at Culture of Good, this is what we want to find out what your company's doing, because there's so many businesses out there doing this good. But in this particular episode, we talked about our big good, our good, and my good, where collectively everyone's doing good together. Big good. We have teams that are going out and doing good. That's the our good. We have individuals using their PTO or having PTO time to volunteer and to give back. And it's driven by this desire to make an impact, to care about our community. Why? Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it leads to higher retention. It leads to, again, less turnover because of that. It leads to new customer acquisition. It leads to higher fulfillment within the organization, which leads to greater performance of our teams. And so if you care about all these results, you have to care about what are they coming from? There's an impact there. And how are we creating and organizing the business to be able to and operationalize this so that we can collectively be a part of doing good in our community, not just for the summer, but there's so many opportunities right now. And I know many of you have good that's going on within your organization and giving back to community. As you're doing that, think about it on a quarterly basis. And that's what this whole episode was about, where it's not just a one-off thing or when the holiday hits, then we're doing all this good, but it's throughout the entire year.
Yeah. So
it's really what drives what we do.
Implementing that essential company-wide volunteer day.
That big good.
Where it's more than just your company, but it's also your community. Getting your community involved. I think that's one of the beautiful things.
And our customers.
And customers. So C3, right? Yeah. The three C's, your community, right? Your company and your customers are all coming together to make an impact. And so having those customers understanding, hey, you're not just doing business with us, right? You're doing business. You're not doing business for us. You're doing business with us, because
and doing
part
good
of
with
that,
this,
right? And so you're impacting the community, not only the community you're in, but we're talking about community worldwide, right? We're in 43 states now, doing good backpack giveaways, and there's so many other quarterly events, right? We've
got TCC, the teacher give back, as we talked about. We're doing veterans now.
Yeah. More than a phone for
more than a phone. Yeah, there's so many now. It's just grown. And that's the idea is, one of the promises that we talk about is that very thing, not just caring about the people around us in the world, but also how are we driving the business to greater success so that we can do more good?
Yeah.
What a great promise is that as employees, as team members, as leaders, we're driving the business, right? We're operationalizing this. We have processes now. We're going out of our way to ensure that our company is successful. And the reason that we're doing that is because we know that as the company grows, the good grows.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened at TCC year over year. Those that have stayed within this business through the ups and downs. And let me tell you, there's no such thing as a perfect culture, but yours doesn't have to suck, right?
Yep.
And this is not a perfect culture.
Put it on a t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen.
We got them coming.
Ooh, put it on a shirt.
And but Culture of Good has seen an evolvement within TCC and the other entities that began by doing good on one level, but as the company grew to another level, so did the good.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, is that as our success as our success grows, then how we define success isn't just in the income that the company makes, right?
Yeah.
It's also in the impact that it makes. And when we make an impact and not just an income, then we give people more than a paycheck, we give them purpose.
Yeah.
And that becomes, I believe, the moment that people know their why.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. You know, I want to say this. There's so many people we can shout out, and I'm just going to make a personal request to Julie Moorhead. We should get her on the show. Shout out to Miss Julie. She does a lot of this stuff. So many powerful impact moments that she does. We need to get Julie on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do like more than a show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be a great campaign.
For those that don't know, Julie runs TCC Gives, and More Than a Phone provides phones to domestic violence survivors across the country. Yeah. Beautiful organization through TCC and TCC Gives. So yeah, it would be great to have Julie on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be great. You know, this is really about how are we fostering and curating these experiences so more and more of this can happen.
Yeah. The more we do, the more we can give.
Yeah.
Or the more we do, the more we do. Right.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that Scott said back in August in that sales campaign, been able to give away over $1.7 million, I believe it was.
Yeah.
To nonprofits throughout this area here in Indy.
Just right here in Indy.
Powerful thing, man.
I think it's $1.7 million that was given, and it's not just given as a check.
Yeah,
it's given as time.
Vehicles.
Oh, yeah, and also like we make sure that employees are a part of, and a team is a part of those organizations, right? Yeah. Because we don't want to just write a check for the good for someone else to cash.
Yeah, anybody can go to an ATM.
Yep. Well,
but, you know,
I don't know if I can now. After what I spent on Christmas,
you can go, man.
Yeah, I can go to an ATM.
But check this out. This is what I think about when I think about what we do here at Culture Good TCC, and I think about other great organizations. Shout out to our cohort champions this year.
Yeah,
that are doing good.
We had
Zealandia, the team in North Carolina.
We had over 40 people certified throughout the year. Close to 50 people certified throughout the year as culture champions that are going into those organizations. And some of those were one-off people that came to our certification, which is going to be February 27th and 28th. So mark that on your calendars. You have till the end of this month for the early bird pricing. It's actually half off right now. So it's $1,250 right now. It's going to be $2,500. It's 2-day full immersion workshop. Plus you get a playbook to follow afterwards. But all of those culture champions, they're going back into their organizations. What I can't wait for this year, as we talked about, is highlighting those leaders and highlighting those organizations, because this is a movement. This is a movement of companies that really do care. And not only did we have that 2-day certification here where people can come, but we were able, like you mentioned, at Zealandia, to bring the 2-day certification to them.
Yeah, Latour Group.
Yeah, the Latour Group and all of them. So all of their entities came together, and we had their leaders, like 1 or 2 leaders from each of their, or maybe 3, that came together, and we certified them as a group in North Carolina. We love doing that too.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So those kind of things.
Shout out to Mr. Butch and Scott, that team there in North Carolina, beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it's really cool. Terry. What's up, Terry?
Mr. Kilpatrick. Yeah, there was great people, man.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, what's been the highlight for you, man? What's been the highlight for your year? Is there a special moment personally and vocationally, like in business? Like, is there something that within
the show, or just
personal, family, something to highlight, or even within the show or the business or a trip? Or
certainly one of the biggest highlights was what happened recently with Brenna's art installation, permanent art installation being placed into the Indianapolis airport recently. And I know I've talked about it a lot recently, but I just can't get past it.
Yeah, it
was kind of like the cherry on the top of a year. It wasn't a perfect year. There was a lot of challenges throughout, but I just that to me was one of the biggest highlights.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think, and that says a lot because that didn't have anything to do with business.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great. That's great. I mean, for me, I think about even thinking about that, to be able to graduate college, right? And then that cherry on the top for her is her art piece that she's been working so hard on, selected, man, out of all the people that was selected.
That was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, that's pretty
for the
cool.
whole family, really. I mean, we were all
good experience. Y'all were all up late.
Oh,
late
goodness.
nights.
Yeah, that was great. How about you?
For me, that was a good one. I think Amber turning 40 is great because I'm not the only 40-year-old old person now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been waiting for this moment for her to be in her 40s and pray that she gets a bunch of gray hairs. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want her to have gray hairs. Oh, it's kind of weird.
I love gray hair.
I don't know. I like her blonde. Yeah.
I love gray hair, man. But so that was a big highlight.
Yeah, that, and I think personally, just seeing Dexter, he's kind of gone all over from swimming to all these sports. The last 2 months, man, has been nothing but diehard basketball, and I think it's coming back home. He got reconnected with Miles Turner. That's his favorite player. They kind of connected when we first got Dexter at 2 years old. Miles and him hung out at a bowling alley and got to bowl, and so it's been
that's cool.
That connection. So being able to come back home, get them tickets to the Pacers and reconnected with Miles. They got a passion for Legos together. So him getting into basketball, but more importantly, his team is undefeated right now. Heading, I think 2 weeks left in the regular season, they're undefeated, and him getting his first bucket in this season, because he didn't get into game 3. He was like 0 for 7. Now he doesn't care about scoring. He likes playing defense, rebounding, and just been out there with his teams. If it's better for him to sit on the bench, he's a team player. That's what we care about. But he loves playing defense and rebounding. That's his thing.
Awesome, man.
But seeing him score his first points, now I had to humble him. Like, dude, you're like 1 for 15 because he was feeling himself.
You're averaging Dennis Rodman over here.
But seeing again, when
that's cool.
You see your kid, experience joy. It's nothing beats that.
Oh man, it's just another level of pride and joy that you get. I would say personally too is like having you around every week. That was a good year.
I think the trips for me is what I'm excited. We get to travel in January. You got a speaking engagement in DC. So there, the traveling part, because it's like taking us out of our element and into unknown, but it's still our element in a sense. So talking about all the trips that we've been able to do together this year, and having you there, when I was speaking, and then being able to be there for you. Appreciate your support, man. People need somebody to be able to support them, and I know, especially during this time, and I've received a call, so I know this is prevalent everywhere. This whole loneliness.
It's a tough season.
And a tough season for a lot of people. So, a lot of loved ones and friends that have lost somebody. You recently, your daughter, lost her biological father. So understanding, those holidays and New Year's, it's those moments of, you don't know when things are going to hit you. And so I want to shout out to those people who are always there to show it for others. Because it's hard. And I speak from experience. When you're passionate about making sure your people know, hey, I'm there for you, and you live it, showing up for others can be lonely for you. You know what I'm saying? And so for those out there that are always constantly, especially in the leadership roles, HR leaders that are always showing up, not just for the business, but for the employees as well. We shout y'all out. We send our love, we send our care, we send some strength your way, some blessings for the sacrifice that you made. And I always try to, remind people, especially during a season, because everybody says better to give than receive, and this is the season where I like to receive. Right. I just do. I give 11 and a half months of giving.
Right. You do, man.
Then,
you do.
Sometimes the last couple of weeks, and we're taking the next 2 weeks off. To replenish our tank. Spend some time with our family, but also receive what we've been given to so many people. So I pour into you, my friend, some love, some blessings.
Pour it back, brother.
And replenishment.
Yeah.
For a crazy 24.
Take care of yourself, and also receive care for yourself, because it's really important to have people around you that you feel supported by.
Yeah.
And yeah, the holidays bring about all kinds of mixed emotions for people.
Yeah.
You know, and also the realities of what we've lost and things that we've gained. And it's the end of the year, and there is a lot of uncertainty, and I believe fear, and sometimes pain too. And so, yeah, take care of yourself. And we're going to take a couple weeks off. We'll be back January 8th.
January 8th. So we're starting on Mondays.
We're going to start on Mondays. We're going to be going live at 1:00 Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
1:00 Eastern time, Mondays. So if you jump on Wednesday,
you might get a recap.
You'll get a recap, and that's all right.
Yeah. Yep.
But it'll be there live on Mondays starting January 8th. We cannot wait for this coming year.
Yeah,
the set's going to look different.
Change it up a little bit. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Fun. Over the next couple of weeks, I believe there's going to be some episodes from this year that you'll be able to find on our Culture of Good page, our Champion Your Culture podcast,
and
social media. So you'll be able to see some of that stuff. But until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's,
Happy holidays, all the
holidays that you celebrate or don't celebrate.
Hanukkah.
Happy chill out days if you're just going to chill.
We have Hanukkah, we have Kwanzaa, we have Christmas, we have all the holidays. We want to say happy holidays for everybody out there celebrating whatever you celebrate. And if you're not celebrating, I'll have a drink for you.
Oh, you know what, Ryan? I didn't think about this. I showed my shoes. I wore these shoes just for you, but
what about your fireplace? Does it light up?
Yeah, the fireplace lights up. I had it on earlier.
Yeah,
a little button right there. But you know, I have these shoes.
Yes,
that light up as well. But I wore something special, not just the outfit.
Yeah,
but I wore something special. To show you. We talked a couple of weeks ago that you like mittens.
Yes.
So I wore my toe socks for you.
What?
So these are the toe socks.
You got
You got toe socks. You like that?
You even have toenails on there. Your toenails are painted.
You got a little painting. You got a little Christmas gifts. But yeah, these are toe socks.
If you didn't know, somebody could take it too far.
'Tis the season. I only know one way, and that's all in.
And that, my friend, is the way that we're going to end this whole season. All right. We'll see you back next year on Champion Your Culture. Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us on Champion Your Culture podcast today.
We're so excited that you're here and want to invite you to connect with us. You can watch the show weekly on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and listen anywhere you get podcasts.
Subscribe today to get new relevant content each week on how to champion yourself and your team. Thanks again for listening to Champion Your Culture.